I'm 95 years old, and I'm going to tell you something that took me 7 decades to understand. Something so simple, yet so powerful, that it literally kept me alive when I had every reason to give up. Most people never figure this out. They chase the wrong things their entire lives. I was one of them. But what I discovered at 67 changed everything. And if you're watching this right now, you need to hear it before it's too late. My name is Robert. I've buried a wife, lost friends, built businesses, and watched the world change in ways I never imagined. I've seen poverty and wealth. I've known loneliness and love. And I've lived long enough to see which choices mattered and which ones were just noise. When I turned 90, my granddaughter asked me a question that shook me. She said, "Grandpa, you've lived through wars, the Great Depression. You lost Grandma. You had cancer twice. How are you still here? What kept you going?" I opened my mouth to answer, and then I stopped. Because the real answer? It wasn't what she expected. It wasn't faith, though I have it. It wasn't stubbornness, though I'm full of it. It was something I stumbled onto by accident. A secret that saved my life more times than I can count. And I realized, that day, sitting in my living room, that I needed to share this before my time runs out. Let me start with time. When I was 28, I thought I had all the time in the world. I was working 70-hour weeks at a factory, trying to get promoted to supervisor. I'd come home exhausted, barely kiss my wife Helen goodnight, and collapse into bed. Weekends? More overtime. Just a few more years, I'd tell her. Then we'll have time. One Saturday afternoon, my daughter Sarah was 7 years old. She came into the garage where I was fixing something that could have waited. She had this little drawing in her hand. "Daddy, I made this for you at school. Can we go to the park?" I barely looked up. "Not now, sweetheart. Daddy's busy. Maybe tomorrow." You know when tomorrow came? 38 years later. I'm not exaggerating. By the time I retired at 63, Sarah was 41 with kids of her own. I never got that Saturday back. I got the promotion, sure. Made supervisor at 31. You know what that earned me? An extra $47 a week. And a lifetime of missed moments. Here's what I wish I knew at 28. Time doesn't wait for your permission to disappear. Those hours you're trading for money, for status, for someday, they're gone forever. You can't bargain with time. You can't save it up. You can only spend it. And you're spending it right now, whether you realize it or not. Stop living in tomorrow. That promotion, that bigger house, that dream vacation you're waiting to afford. None of it matters if you miss today. Now, relationships. This one breaks my heart because I got it so wrong for so long. I married Helen when I was 24. She was 22, beautiful, full of life. We were poor, but we were happy. Then something happened over the years. I stopped seeing her. Oh, I looked at her every day. But I stopped seeing her. She became part of the furniture. The person who made dinner, who kept the house, who asked about my day while I grunted at the newspaper. When I was 52, Helen went to visit her sister in Ohio for 2 weeks. I remember thinking, finally some peace and quiet. But day 3, the house felt wrong. Day 7, I couldn't sleep in our bed. Day 12, I realized I'd been married to this woman for 28 years, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd really talked to her. Not about bills or kids or groceries. Really talked. She came home on a Sunday. I met her at the door, and I said something I hadn't said in probably a decade. "I missed you." She started crying, right there in the doorway, because that's how starved she was for those 3 words. We had 15 more years together before the cancer took her. And those 15 years, I did it differently. I asked questions. I listened. I held her hand while we watched TV. Simple things. But they gave us a second marriage inside our first one. Here's the brutal truth. The people you love won't be there forever. Your parents are aging while you're busy. Your kids are growing while you're scrolling. Your spouse is slowly becoming a stranger while you're too tired to talk. And one day you'll be standing at a funeral, surrounded by things you bought with the time you didn't spend with them. Love people like they're temporary. Because they are. My biggest regret haunts me every single day. And I need to tell you about it. Because if I can save one person from carrying this weight, then maybe it means something. I had a son named Michael, my firstborn. When he was 16, we had a fight. He wanted to pursue music, wanted to move to Nashville, chase this dream. I told him he was being foolish. Music isn't a career, I said. Get a real job. Be practical. We screamed at each other in the kitchen. He said I didn't believe in him. I said he didn't understand the real world. He left for Nashville anyway at 19. And I was so angry, so stubborn that I cut him off. I told Helen, he made his choice. 3 years of silence. 3 years where I could have picked up the phone, driven down there, said I was sorry. But I was too proud. He died at 22. Car accident on a rainy highway outside Memphis. I got the call on a Tuesday morning. And you want to know the last thing I ever said to my son? You're making a mistake. Not, I love you. Not, I'm proud of you. Just disappointment and rejection. I'm 95 years old, and I would trade every single year I have left for 5 minutes with Michael. 5 minutes to tell him I was wrong, that his dream mattered more than my fear, that I loved him more than I needed to be right. Pride is a poison. It'll kill your relationships while you're busy defending yourself. Apologies aren't weakness. They're the only thing strong enough to build bridges. And time? Time doesn't heal wounds you never try to close. Say sorry while you still can. Say, I love you, while they can still hear it. Being right doesn't matter when you're alone. Let's talk about success. When I was 35, success looked like a corner office, a new Chevrolet, respect from my colleagues. I measured my worth in paychecks and titles. I thought if I could just make manager, then district supervisor, then maybe regional director, then I'd be someone. Then I'd be happy. I made regional director at 48. You know what I felt? Relief that it was over, and then nothing. The goalposts just moved. Now I wanted VP. It never ended. I retired at 63, with a decent pension, a paid-off house, and a garage full of tools I barely used. I'd worked for 41 years, and about 6 months into retirement, I fell into this dark depression. Because I'd spent 4 decades defining myself by my job, and now that job was gone. Who was I? What was I worth? My grandson Tommy was 12 then. He'd come over after school sometimes. One day, he asked if I could teach him to build a birdhouse. We spent 3 afternoons in the garage, just me and him, cutting wood, drilling holes, painting it blue. When we finished, he hugged me so tight and said, "This was the best week ever, Grandpa." And something clicked. That birdhouse meant more to him than every quarterly report I ever filed. My presence meant more than my position ever did. Real success isn't what you achieve. It's who you become and who you help along the way. It's the lives you touch, the moments you create, the love you give. I know a man who died with millions in the bank and 4 people at his funeral. I know a school teacher who died with nothing and had a church packed with students who said she changed their lives. Which one was successful? At the end of your life, you won't remember your job title. You'll remember Tuesday afternoons building birdhouses. So here it is, the secret that kept me alive, the thing I learned at 67 that changed everything. After Helen died, I wanted to die too. We'd been married 43 years. The house was too quiet. The bed was too big. Food had no taste. I stopped caring. I was 67, alone, and I thought, what's the point of sticking around? Then one morning, my daughter Sarah called. She was crying. Her husband had left her. She had 2 kids. She was falling apart. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't done yet. My purpose wasn't over. It had just changed. Not in a codependent way, but in the beautiful human way where your existence matters to someone, where you serve, where you contribute, where you show up. I started watching my grandkids after school. I volunteered at the senior center, teaching woodworking to guys younger than me. I called my old friends weekly. I wrote letters to Sarah telling her stories about her mother. I stopped asking, what can I get from life? And started asking, what can I still give? And you know what happened? I wanted to wake up again. I had reasons to stay. Purpose is the cure for despair. Most people think life is about collecting experiences, money, possessions. They think happiness is something you chase or achieve. But the truth is simpler. Life is about connection. It's about mattering to someone. It's about leaving people a little better than you found them. I'm 95, and I'm still here because people need me. My great-granddaughter needs someone to tell her stories. My daughter needs someone to call when she's scared. The guy at the senior center needs someone to remind him he's not forgotten. You'll never run out of reasons to live if you keep giving people reasons to love you. So let me bring this home. These aren't just lessons. They're lifelines. Time is not your enemy until you ignore it. Spend it on what matters. Relationships are not automatic. They require presence, vulnerability, forgiveness. Regrets will crush you if you let pride win. Apologize now. Love now. Success is not what the world tells you. It's what echoes in quiet moments with the people you love. And purpose? Purpose comes from showing up for others, especially when you think you have nothing left to give. I've lived 95 years. I've made every mistake in this video and more. I've lost people, wasted time, chosen wrong, learned late, but I'm still here. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to wait until you're 67 or 80 or 95 to figure it out. The life you want isn't coming someday. It's here, right now, in the people sitting next to you, the moments you're too distracted to notice, the apologies you're too proud to make. Don't miss it. Don't waste decades figuring this out like I did. Learn from my mistakes. Start today. Call someone you haven't talked to. Put down your phone at dinner. Say, "I'm sorry" to someone who needs to hear it. Live like your time is running out, because it is. We just don't know when. Which of these lessons hit you hardest? Leave a comment below. And if this meant something to you, subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because wisdom only matters if we pass it on. I'm 95, and I'm grateful you listened. Now go. Make your life count.